The videos that you'll be seeing while I'm talking are videos from East Tennessee. Some is a helicopter ride, video footage of the Great Smoky Mountains. Some is of Gatlinburg, and then there's some of Pigeon Forge and Sevierville. It's just to show there is a lot of bad news that comes out of East Tennessee and bad things that happen here, but not everything in East Tennessee is ugly. Just like the old saying, stop and smell the roses and you'll see the beauty that surrounds you. Hello, 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 everybody. This is going to be a 3-part video. Hopefully it's not going to be too long. Make sure and watch till the end and subscribe, like, share, that kind of stuff. Now, the 3 stories that we're going to be doing is about the little 6-year-old from Virginia with the pew-pew and the teacher. Madalina Cojocari update. The parents did go to court the other day. And then a little bit more on Summerwells case, just to touch on all 3 cases. Now, as far as the little boy goes, they have, they've given out the teacher's name, which was Abigail Zwerner, I guess is how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. Sorry if I butchered that name. But what they're looking at is whether or not they are planning on charging the mother. It says certainly a possibility mother could face charges after her 6-year-old allegedly pew-pewed a Virginia teacher. It also says that a day after police confirmed the boy took the firearm from his home and brought it to school in his backpack Friday before allegedly opening pew-pew in a classroom at Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News, wounding a teacher and sending her to the hospital. It says that the police chief spoke with Commonwealth attorney multiple times, and they are still investigating it, but they are talking about, said that they have to check with the Child Protective Services and see if there's any past history there. They've got to check the school records and see if there's any past history of behavioral problems. Come on, guys. He is 6 years old. They've only been in school for from August to December. He's not going to have a whole lot of history there. And if he's got records from kindergarten where he's a problem child, come on. But that's my personal opinion. Getting back to this, they still have 16 to 17 children from that classroom that has to go and see psychologists, get statements from them. It says at the end of the day, when that's all compiled together and the facts and what the law supports, the Commonwealth's attorney will make a decision if there are any charges forthcoming towards the parent. It says before police revealed the pew-pew was legally purchased by the 6-year-old's mother, that there was a scenario where the parents could be held criminally liable if the weapon belonged to them and they did not keep it properly locked up. But in Virginia, that's only a Class 1 misdemeanor. Without more information, it's hard to know if there's criminal liability or not and who should have it, said Block, the former director of the Virginia Department of Juvenile Services. So it's still going to take a little while, guys, to figure out what they're doing in this case. If I remember correctly, the kid that did the pew-pewing in the one high school, and it's not been that long ago, and his parents had bought him the pew-pew for Christmas or his birthday or whatever, they did charge the parent. They were treated as criminals, which should have been done. Don't get me wrong. I completely agree with that. But in this case, it's hard. I believe the parents should be held responsible if they did not have that pew-pew locked up and it was somewhere where a 6-year-old could get to it. But my main worry is, what is this going to do mentally and psychologically to this 6-year-old, and how he is going to be labeled and treated throughout his, younger years, through his teen years, through high school. Is this going to carry with him, even if it was, I don't have an explanation why this child would do this, but if it was unintentionally malice on the child's part, how is this going to affect the rest of his youth years? Will this carry over and determine the rest of the way that teachers, school, people in general treat him? And if so, what's that going to turn him into once he becomes an adult? Just questions that go through my mind, guys. Okay, on to the next. Now, this one is the missing 11-year-old from North Carolina, Madalina Cojocari. And it says in the headlines, it says, Missing Madalina. Police claim mother drove to remote area in the mountains after daughter disappeared. It says there's also new information about what detectives discovered when visiting the home where 11-year-old Madalina Cojocari lived with her mother, stepfather, Christopher Palomiter. There's new development in the investigation into disappearance. Okay, it says the department is now seeking information from anyone who may have seen Madalina's mother in Madison County, North Carolina during the days or weeks after she disappeared, which was November the 21st, guys. Now, if anybody has seen her, please call the Cornelius Police Department in Madison County, or I guess it's Madison County. It says Madison County is sparsely populated and densely forested section of the state located deep in the Appalachian Mountains on the Tennessee border. Police believe the trip took place after Madalina was last seen on November 21st, but before the start of their investigation into the missing child on December 15th. One of the family members was in Madison County area of North Carolina, said the department's statement on its Facebook page. We are seeking first-hand eyewitness information from anyone who may have seen this Prius or white female in the Madison County area. The family member was identified as Diana Cojocari. 2 photos of Madalina's mother released with the statement showed her standing in a mountainous area with heavy woods behind her. There's also new information about what detectives say they discovered when visiting the home where Madalina lived with her mother and stepfather Christopher. Now, if y'all will remember, I don't know if I mentioned it in my last video or not, but anybody that's following the story, you remember that when they went in and was looking for evidence in the home of Madalina, they said they found plywood up in the kitchen area, I'm assuming doorway, and it says that Palomiter replied they had planned to make a separate apartment for some of Diana's family, I'm assuming. Anyways, Madalina's mother also said that a backpack and clothing were missing from her daughter's room, and that information and a 3-week delay in reporting Madalina's missing were presented to a North Carolina judge as the basis for an arrest warrant. It says the 2 parents were taken into custody on December 17th on a single charge of failure to report the disappearance of a child. Last week, guys, before they went to court on the 9th, last week, a grand jury formally indicted the pair. It says the couple has not shared any new information after being taken into custody, so they're not talking, they're not telling anything. They say this is a serious case of child whose parents clearly are not telling us anything they know or everything they know. They're still both being held on bond, and if by chance they get bonded out, they do have to turn over any passports, any kind of travel documentation, anything like that, and they do have to wear the ankle bracelets to track them. Last confirmed sighting of Madalina was on November 21st when she was seen on video exiting a school bus at 4:59 p.m. just days before Thanksgiving. That video was later released by the FBI. It says the last person who reports seeing her was her mom, and it was on the 23rd of November. Said Madalina didn't attend school 2 days prior to the Thanksgiving break. And then at the end it says, please, any individual with first-hand information that could help detectives are asked to call the Cornelius Police Department at 704-892-1363 or the Federal Bureau of Investigation at 1-800-CALL-FBI. And now for another look into another direction for the Summerwells case. I am still looking into trying to find out where the tracks and patterns of how Frank Light went on his horse looking for Summer, what direction he went in, how close to his house, how close to that church, and how close to the alleged footprints did he go. Where was the fence row that he was supposedly looking at on horseback? You know, how close was that to where Summer's supposed footprints were found? But I received this comment yesterday, or it may have been this morning, and I would just like to put it out there. And I am still looking into Frank Light. I'm going to look into all these. I'm going to look in all these directions. But I think this point is a good point, and I want to get it out there. It says, I don't know where the focus should be, but I believe it needs to start at Lawson. He's shady AF, and it all needs to be exposed. How can his son get convicted and get a 20-year sentence, but only have to serve 1 year with 19 years probation? Why isn't the news trying to dig into that? Why aren't people demanding answers on that? I mean, and I do understand that more than likely Brandon, well, we don't know that his sister was up there at the Wells house a few days before Summer got gone. So I've heard allegedly. Don't hold me to that. But we're assuming that Brandon didn't have any direct contact with Summer or have anything in on that. But the point I believe this person is making is if Hawkins County and its sheriff are crooked enough to get their own PO son off or get him, reduced sentence, whatever, then obviously it's a crooked system that flies by the way Ronnie Lawson wants it to work. So what other things could be flying by that office that Ronnie Lawson don't want brought out? If you're doing one thing over here that's crooked, what's to say that you're not involved in something else really, really bad crooked? And I mean, I agree. I have said that from the beginning. I can't out and out just come out and say it. You all know and understand what I'm saying. I do not want to get sued by someone, so I'm not going to come out and say exactly what I think, but you all have been saying it in the comments for almost 19 months now. Ronnie Lawson needs to be looked into. The sheriff's department needs to be looked into. And I agree with this person that sent this comment or that posted this comment. Somebody needs to find out why or how did Brandon Lawson get such a reduced sentence. And I'm taking the first step. I have contacted my sheriff without bringing any names into it and have personally asked him his opinion on how this could have happened. And I'm waiting on a return text from him now. More than likely it'll be this evening because he normally doesn't get a hold of me until after hours, after, I don't know how many of y'all know this, but in Newport, the sheriff's department shuts down at 5 o'clock. Everybody goes home. I mean, yeah, the jail annex is still open and stuff, but the actual sheriff's department shuts down. If you need a sheriff's deputy, for whatever reason, then you have to call the annex, tell them, hey, I need to meet a sheriff's deputy at the jail or at the courthouse, and they send one out. So anyways, as soon as I hear back from our sheriff, if he can tell me anything or if he is willing to tell me anything, then I will, let you guys know what he says of how this could be a possibility. I don't see it, but maybe there's some legal stance that this could have actually have happened before in the past and it's not something crooked. I doubt it, but we're checking to find out. And I know this is not very informative today, but you get what you get. I'll see you guys on the next video. I hope you've watched till the end. I thank you all for your support, your views, and see you on the next video, guys.